Hello, Leo. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. For supportive Oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Already shuffled. I'm going to put them face down. Don't know why. Alright, so it's the beginning and the end. Alright, where are we going to go with this? Let's just pick up some cards here. Okay, Leo. Let's flip these cards over. Okay, how is your ending going? This might be, well. Into everyone's life, some rain must fall. Yeah, the beginning and the end are pretty good. So, we'll see. I don't know how bad this is going to be. Leos aren't usually afraid of confrontation anyway, so you might be like, no big deal. But there is a confrontation coming. It's stereotypical, I know. Leo, I just don't seem to think Leos, the ones I know, don't seem to shy away from confrontation. If it has to happen, well, then it has to happen. They don't, it doesn't matter. Keep going. Whew. The situation, as it starts here, it seems like you've been dealing with it for a while. It's not really new, but it's taking like this upgrowth. Literally the word growth is here. It's like things are starting to come together a little better. The Nine of Coins and Sovereignty is like somebody's giving you a break. Somebody's realizing the way the situation has been going, it may have been okay in the past, but it needs to make an improvement. Seems to be making an improvement. You're very much connected to this improvement, whether you're pushing it forward or just connected to it in a different way. You're definitely lending to the growth. Literally, you have the growth card on your side. Improvement is happening. The Nine of Coins is telling me, at this point, it doesn't seem like it's bad. It seems like it's heading in a good direction. There's a slight air of aggravation with it. There's also kind of like feeling confined with it. I get that. Well, that's Pentacles. That makes sense. But there's a lot to be gained from it. And when it first starts making this growth moment, you're happy that it's at least moving a little bit and it seems to be improving. So you're happy with that. I do feel like even though there's a lot of good with it, and people are trying to work with you and trying to give it enough mobility to make it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more spicy, I do feel like it's kind of restrictive and constraining. It does feel restrictive and constraining, actually. That may be the point of contention, actually. What I'm getting in the environment that comes next is the King of Cups, which is telling me, don't get caught up in the gender, but someone is basically trying to keep this fresh for you. They're realizing that you get really aggravated and annoyed, is what I'm getting. If things get very stagnant and it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 months later it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you're like, I'm gonna go mad. Like 3 months of this and I'm gonna lose my mind. I can't stand it. Somebody in the environment seems to realize like, all right, yeah, that's gonna drive you nuts. So they're trying to keep some life in it. They're trying to keep it a little bit more exciting for you. Trying. Succeeding? Hopefully you're realizing it's there, because I'm not seeing a card explaining your emotion in that, so I guess it's subjective to what you're dealing with. This kind of depends on how you feel about this energy. Even though this energy comes at you in a positive way, some of you like that, others of you don't. Some of you are kind of on the fence depending on the day. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. So it's kind of how you're reacting to the energy, how you really feel about this, because I don't feel like it's really doing the job at keeping you satisfied. Even though it's a growth situation, it's just kind of like it's feeling very restrictive and confined. This is that moment, the Five of Wands, which to me is a confrontation card. A lot of growth comes out of it. A lot of good things come out of it, but I feel like you have a minute here where you're just kind of like, I can't stand it anymore. One more, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to slap somebody because I can't take it. I'm just like, one more, 1, 2, 3, I swear. Somebody says 1, 2, 3 one more time, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it all over the place. And I feel like you just have it. You're just kind of like, I've had it. I understand that you all are happy with this, but I'm not. I just feel like I feel like this situation is strangling me. I know it's not that bad. I know it's sustaining, but it's just so boring that like I just start thinking about it and I start to fall asleep because it's that boring. There's a moment here of like some type of point of contention. Now, this actually works to your favor, ironically, because the environment, like, it comes right out what you don't like and where it's stagnant and what you don't like from it. And I'm getting the environment is kind of like, all right, then we need to change this. The sun card showing up after that moment is really kind of interesting because the truth comes out, how you're feeling. I don't know if you were holding it back before then. For some of you, you may have been. I don't really know why, but I guess maybe. It seems a little rare, possibly. Others of you are probably dropping subtle hints and it just wasn't hitting. It wasn't making the connection for other people, and you make it quite loud and obvious at this point. It has a good outcome. Sun card pops in the environment, which is really good because I feel like people are realizing if they expect you to stay connected to this situation and continue on with the situation, that things not only have to change, but you're participating. You're giving your information. You're participating, you're invested in the outcome. That's the thing. I feel like that's why the sun card is in the environment. By you complaining, because I literally think you're complaining, and explaining how you feel, the environment not only sees a chance to keep you engaged, but realizes you wouldn't complain unless you wanted to stay a part of it. And like this is like, it's a really good moment. I'm trying to understand it because I'm seeing the star card on your side now. The star and the star and the sun together. Like, you know, most people I think really do know the sun is actually a star. It's just like the distance. And it's kind of like you see possibility for better things coming in the future. They're seeing the possibility that you could be a prime candidate to make these better things in the future happen. Things do have to change. There hasn't been enough growth at this point. And this is what you're pointing out. There's a lot of positive energy here. I'm just kind of floored that it's really being received very well. Because it's like other people are also standing up and like, yeah, you know what? Enough change hasn't happened yet. It's not gone far enough and it's not going fast enough. We're losing out. Things are not going well. Things need to go better and they need to go better now. And you're standing up and saying, and it needs to go better right now because you're driving me crazy with this 1, 2, 3 thing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to lose my mind. Somehow you push something forward. And I don't know if you're in a position to call the shots or you're just getting into a position where the people who call the shots are listening to you. One of the two. Judgment goes in your favor. But the trick is with judgment going in your favor, it goes in everybody else's favor too because this needs to change. You're not only making things better for yourself, you're making things better for other people. And if you're not the person calling the shots, somebody calling the shots has you leading the way. So you're kind of ending up in a leader role either way, even if it's by proxy. Because you have action here, moving things forward. You have people watching and seeing how things are going. Be aware of that. There could be a microscope feel, but again, the judgment is going in everybody's favor. So the reason I feel like this reading might be really, for those of you who stuck around through the whole thing, what they want you to really get about this is, yeah, you're going to be able to call the shots. Yes, you're going to be right. Yes, it's going to go in everybody's favor. But realize that some people might be watching you with that fine-tooth comb under the microscope, which is not something that you need to fear. Not that most of you will anyway. But they're saying be preemptive about this. Keep the ball in your court. And the way to do this is like when you realize who's watching and why they're watching, set things up so that you either have people around that can explain it for you or, you know, cross your T's, dot your I's, so that way when people start pushing against it and this assessing energy is here, you don't have to waste that much time explaining. You know what I mean? You don't want to waste time on this situation explaining to other people why this and why that. Set things up for either people to be in the right places who are allies of yours to explain why things are turning out this way, why this is going, why you made that, you know, decision. If you have to, just be ready for it. You know, have the documentation if you need to show why. Just, you don't want to waste time explaining things to others. So if you preemptively see it, it'll be like instead of taking 5 hours, you can take 5 minutes. You know what I mean? And just like, okay, well, this is it. Or this person understands, they'll explain to you they were there the whole time. Here's the documentation. Go through that. If you have questions after, we'll deal with that. Because I don't feel like you should have to waste 5 hours of your time going through every little bit. Read this. Ask that person. They'll explain it. I've got things to do. So that's why they're just giving this big thing at the end. Realize that's going to happen, but either put people in the right position or have your documentation ready. So that way these people should be able to handle it themselves. For others of you, make sure you have an ally that can also not only explain what's going on, but an ally who will, like, if somebody's questioning things, you can pass this information, the documentation, through this ally, so that ally can make sure that that person finds their own answers and they don't try to push it back on you like, I don't want to read that, you have to tell me. If you have an ally backing you up, that person can push it back on them and be like, no, you have the questions, you find your own answers, here's the documentation where you're going to find it. So keep that in mind. You want to keep a couple allies in strategic spots. Like if you can, somebody knowing what you're doing already and why, and another person at least one to like push it back on the people asking the questions. Like if you have valid questions, that's one thing, but if the answers are here, you just got to search for your own answers yourself. Like making sure that they're pushing for those people that find their own answers. Here's the documentation. You find the answer you want. That type of thing. All right. And I think you're good. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.